Post office clerks put up signs saying position closed. The secretaries turn off typewriters and put on their coats. And janitors padlock the gates for security guards to patrol. And bachelors phone up their friends for a drink while the married ones turn on a chat show. And they'll all be lonely tonight and lonely tomorrow. Gentlemen, time please, you know we can't serve anymore. Now the traffic lights change to stop when there's nothing to go. And by 5 o'clock everything's dead, and every third car is a cab. And ignorant people sleep in their beds like the dope white mice in the college lab. And nothing ever happens, nothing happens at all. The needle returns to the start of the song, and we all sing along like before. And we'll all be lonely tonight and lonely tomorrow. Telephone exchanges click while there's nobody there. The Martians could land in the car park and no one would care. And closed-circuit cameras in department stores shoot the same movie every day. And the stars of these films neither died nor get killed, just survive constant action replay. And nothing ever happens, nothing happens at all. The needle returns to the start of the song, and we all sing along like before. And we'll all be lonely tonight and lonely tomorrow. Advertise products that nobody needs, while angry from Manchester writes to complain about all the repeats on TV. And computer terminals report some gains on the values of copper and tin, while American businessmen snap up Van Goghs for the price of a hospital wing. And nothing ever happens, nothing happens at all. The needle returns to the start of the song, and we all sing along like before. And nothing ever happens, nothing happens at all. They'll burn down the synagogues at 6 o'clock, and we all go along like before. And we'll all be lonely tonight and lonely tomorrow. And we'll all be lonely tonight and lonely tomorrow. And we'll all be lonely tonight and lonely tomorrow.
Well, hello and welcome again to Restore Live on a Wednesday evening. Going out to the British Unionist People's Voice, also to the Restore UK on Facebook, that is, and to Restore UK on YouTube. And I would like to just ask people, I mean, if you could go over to our YouTube channel, and if you could subscribe to our channel there, because what is actually happening, I don't know why you notice or not, but the numbers, they're not too fruitful on these events. And yes, of course, we've been away for a few weeks due to my own work commitment. But here we are ready to sort of get up and going again. And, the people that used to come here, I mean, there was a lot There's a lot more people than what's showing on the screen. So we'd just like to ask people to tag people into the live chat. Also, if you would like to share, because without you, we can't get this message out, because social media, in terms of Facebook, what they have done is they've actually curtailed our message from getting out there. And the reasons, well, what they say is they say that we go against their community standards. And what goes against their community standards is that we are fighting tirelessly for our place in the United Kingdom. And in the United Kingdom, they 17.4 plus million people, they voted to leave the EU on the 23rd of June 2016. And that was the United Kingdom as one entity, is what should have happened. That was the United Kingdom wanting to go it alone. And what you'll find with reference to these social media platforms, you see, they believe in the project of globalization. And when you have people like ourselves who would be promoting that we are nationalists, we are, nationalists at heart, we are, in terms of, we are the United Kingdom, one of the greatest unions ever to be in the history of the world. And what these people with globalization in mind, what they have in mind is they want to see the end of the United Kingdom. And when we're promoting the United Kingdom, when we're exposing the corruption that would be seeking to derail us, when we're doing that type of thing, well, social media, they feel that it is right to ensure that we are not propagated, that we don't reach the people that we should be reaching. And just a few weeks ago, we here at Restore UK, we got a notification to say that they're not actually promoting us on to others. They won't show our live feed. And I don't know if you can leave a message in the live chat. I don't know whether some people are still getting notifications when we go live, or whether it's just the case that people see that we did an advertisement and that's the reason why they're here. So leave some messages in the live chat and you can explain, are you getting the notifications from social media? And if you were a Republican right now, if you were interested in the let's just say the so-called New Ireland, well, you see, you would be flourishing in terms of your numbers. You would be promoted to all and sundry. And why is that, you ask? You see, because the project of a New Ireland, well, it's a swindle. It's a con. And what it's doing is it's sucking people into believing that what they can do is that they can have this romantic dream of a united Ireland. And there's two reasons why that can't happen. The first reason is that, to be united with something, the people have to be united. The people have to be united. And you tell me, you ask yourself the question, would you be united with someone or an entity, an Irish establishment, which seeks to remove you from your brothers and sisters in England, Scotland, and Wales by force? Not by consent, but by force. Not legally, but illegally. Would you ever unite with that? And that's one of the reasons why that there can never be this so-called united Ireland. And another reason for that, another reason is that whenever these Republicans, whenever these so-called nationalists, and I say so-called nationalists, why do I say that? It's because nationalism is about keeping your country. It's not about giving it away. But these so-called nationalists, Irish nationalists, well, you see, they want to hand their country to the vassal, which is the EU, or they want the dictatorial Ponzi scheme, which is the EU. They want to be a vassal. What is a vassal? A vassal is a rule taker where you can't make your rules and you're dictated to. You're dictated to in a way that you've absolutely no say in your what goes on in your country. And that's what's happening in Ireland right now. And these so-called nationalists, well, and it's the same with Scottish nationalists and Welsh nationalists. They want to break up the United Kingdom. They want to break away from the United Kingdom to hand their power and their authority on to people that are unelected, which makes the rules and which dictates the laws, which come into your country and which tells you what you can and what you cannot do. Look what's happening over this protocol. Look what's happening as a result of this border in the North Channel, to some this border in the Irish Sea. Look what's happening and how that it is that this European Union that say that they want respect for all, and what they want is they want integrity. They want to push. They want to produce a a society which caters for everyone. This is what they say, but yet what they do is they completely exclude the wishes of the people of the United Kingdom in terms of we are the United Kingdom here in Northern Ireland. We are the United Kingdom. We are part of the United Kingdom. We are an integral part of the United Kingdom and the EU. They dictate that we can't have our goods from our brothers and sisters in England, Scotland and Wales. And I was talking to a man in Scotland just a few weeks ago, and he tells me to send me stuff here to Northern Ireland, he needs to have a special EROI number, which is really special. He has to have a license to trade in the United Kingdom. Imagine that. And vice versa. You have to have that if you're here in Northern Ireland to send goods to England, Scotland, or Wales. And that is at the request of this dictatorial Ponzi scheme, which is the EU, which are dictating the rules. And no one here in Northern Ireland has ever voted for them or give them the authority to do so. So right now, Ireland is a vassal of the EU, and that's exactly how it happens. Is the EU, they tell them jump, and Ireland has to say hi. So that's number two. That's the reason number two as to why that there could never be a so-called United Ireland. Isn't it interesting that they've changed the words? They have recently changed the words to a new Ireland. What does a new Ireland mean, you ask? Well, that means that what they can do, what they will do, what they are seeking to do is that whenever these so-called nationalists who want to give their country away, the so-called Irish nationalists, whenever they get to this so-called new Ireland, this so-called United Ireland that they aspire to, well, it'll be nothing like what it was that they anticipated a new Ireland would be. Why? Because you're not allowed to be Irish in Ireland anymore. Just like here in Northern Ireland, if you're British Unionist, well, under the watchful eye of the EU and of these people that want globalisation put in place, what they're seeking to do is they're seeking to remove your nationality, your culture, your history, and everything that you have ever believed in. And that's not in a democratic way. That isn't with consent. That is in a completely dictatorial way. And who wants to be part of a club like that? Doug Beattie. Let's move on to Doug Beattie whilst that we're here. I will get this clip. We know where it is, and we'll go looking for it. It's just that I have had a lot of work commitment over the past few weeks, and I'll go looking for this clip where Doug Beattie, now wait for it, this is what he said. He said that he is a constitutional unionist. I'll say that again. Doug Beattie, the leader of the Ulster Unionist Party, he said that he's a constitutional unionist. He said that he's not an economic unionist. Can anyone tell me what that means? Can anyone truly tell me what that means? A constitutional unionist, but not an economic unionist? People, the LGBT plus brigade are very, very welcome to the Ulster Unionist Party. Those that would vote for Alliance are very welcome to the Ulster Unionist Party. Those that think that they are socialist, which by their own flirting with this concept of socialism, which will ultimately end up in their destruction, well, the Ulster Unionist Party, they are also welcome to the Ulster Unionist Party. Doug Beattie, the leader of the party of Carson, he is a constitutional unionist, not an economic unionist. A unionist, people, is a unionist. There's no variations of unionist. You either believe in the United Kingdom or you don't. And if you believe in the constitutional position of Northern Ireland within the United Kingdom, well, yes, that makes you a constitutional unionist. But if you don't believe in an economic union, in where that here in Northern Ireland, we had a large market. Our biggest market was the UK internal market. We traded more with England, Scotland, and Wales, and back the other way, than we trade with anyone else. And isn't that how things should work? Shouldn't you be looking after yourselves? Shouldn't you be, buying local, buying, from people right around the United Kingdom, keeping the United Kingdom internal market strong? But here we have the leader of the party of Carson. Carson would be turning in his grave to hear that he said that he's a constitutional unionist and not an economic unionist. What is it that Jim Allister often says? And I'm going to quote Jim Allister. He said that, economic union is a step towards full union, full integration within the European Union. And Doug Beattie's a constitutional unionist and not an economic unionist. And we do know that he voted for the EU in terms of to remain in the EU in the Brexit referendum. We do know that the Ulster Unionist Party, where they rallied people to vote for to remain in the EU. But they're rallying to vote for an entity that ultimately wants to seek to destroy them, that wants to remove their British unionism, their history, their culture, and everything that they've ever believed in. And yet the Ulster Unionist Party, the party of Carson, they are unionists. Unionists, okay, but not United Kingdom unionists. These people are European unionists. That's what they are. Any self-respecting British unionist that would give these people a vote, it would be the greatest act of self-harm that they will ever participate in to do so. So there you go. That has come to light just in the past few days that Doug Beattie, the party of Carson, I think maybe they should redesignate to the European Unionist Party, not the Ulster Unionist Party, because those people don't have our best interests at heart. They don't have our best interests. They're not fighting for our survival in a meaningful, proactive way, in a way that defend, protect, and enhance British unionism here in Northern Ireland. At every opportunity, this Ulster Unionist Party, or should we say this European Unionist Party, will they seek to amalgamate us with the New Ireland, the so-called New Ireland. Ian Marshall, who recently joined the Ulster Unionist Party, what was it that he said? He said that he wants the Oireachtas to be sitting in Belfast. That's part of the Irish Parliament, to be coming and sitting in Belfast. But yet he belongs to the party of Carson. People, if there was one thing that I would just love to be able to do, and I don't know why it's possible or not, but I would love to be able to join the Ulster Unionist Party in great numbers and to remove that party from the clutches of these psychopaths, these constitutional psychopaths, because that's what they are. They're not unionists. Don't make a mistake in believing that. And as I played the song at the very, very start of the stream, nothing ever happens. Nothing happens at all. The needle returns to the start of the song and we all sing along like before. And we'll all be lonely tonight, be lonely tomorrow. You see, your politician thinks that that's what's going to happen. They think that the needle's going to return to the start of the song and we're all going to sing along like before. It is my right as a British citizen living here in Northern Ireland, as it is your right, to point out where it is that your politicians are getting things wrong, getting things horribly wrong. And when I say horribly, I mean horribly. they move to amalgamate, to placate, the extremes. They make deals, but not with people. And I'm talking about our mainstream British Unionist politicians here. They make promises to people that they talk tough, their language is fine, but will their language ever be backed up with words or be backed up with actions? Will this happen? People, this remains to be seen. We had some fine words from Jeffrey Donaldson, who had suggested that he would be putting things down in October. He would be walking away from the institutions. The Belfast Agreement, it was a disguise. It was built for appeasement, swindle, and lies. The pieces of farce, the IRA guns are still there, and the criminal gang is in the criminal gang headquarters just off the Upper Newtownards Road, and they are using their positions to destabilise Northern Ireland in many more ways than you could ever imagine. And yet that criminal gang headquarters is still permitted to be in place. The Belfast Agreement doesn't work for British Unionism here in Northern Ireland, and that has been proven because we have a border in the North Channel. And Jeffrey Donaldson had said that he would move to pull the house down in October. Well, this is the start of October right now, and I still see the institutions in place. Now, did I hear today that it's going to be November? It's going to be mid-November? When is this going to extend to? Is this a kicking the can down the road exercise? Is this putting the thing, is this putting the everything on the long finger? And before we know it, there'll be an election, there'll be Christmas, there'll be other problems. This is month 10 of this constitutional changing protocol. And this constitutional changing protocol is still in place. It's unacceptable. It should be unacceptable to anyone that calls themselves a British Unionist. People, I decided that it would come on for a short stream after having chatted to the man before in the stream that we did before. Now, as you know, we haven't been here for a few weeks, and from here on in, that's us. We're back. So we're going to be moving towards building our YouTube channel. So I would like to ask each and every one of you to go across and join our YouTube channel if you haven't already done that, because I think that we're going to need to find a new home, because when you expose corruption, when you're not afraid to point out where these people are being totally corrupt and doing things in a way that isn't lawful, when you do that, social media, well, they will move to shut you down wherever they can. So I would say that our days on Facebook is numbered. So I'm going to encourage each and every one of you to go across to YouTube. And from there, we'll create another channel. We were saying before that we're going to create a website. And this channel, Restore UK, we're moving towards making documentaries. We bought some some capable camera equipment, some nice stands, and we're going to have full capability for making these documentaries. So coming to a screen near you very, very soon, some very powerful documentaries exposing corruption here in Northern Ireland, exposing the inabilities, the unwillingness of our politicians to stand up and make meaningful, proactive protest for and on behalf of British Unionism. And, as I said a few weeks ago, if we have to fight with those in leadership for them to save themselves, not only to save us, but to save themselves, if we have to fight with them, well, so be it, because that's exactly what we will be doing. We will be taking the fight to those in political leadership that are unwilling to make the meaningful, proactive protest in the only way that will have success. Jeffrey Donaldson, in his fine words, I said it a few weeks ago, a fait accompli. What is a fait accompli? This is something that has been arranged, and maybe he will actually walk away from Stormont, but close to the time by which that they would they would be getting into electioneering mode anyway, and Stormont wouldn't be functioning in the way that it would be functioning. So really and truly, the DUP claim that they've done something special, when in effect they actually haven't. This is the start of October, and he still hasn't pulled those corrupt institutions down. Even though that you, as a British Unionist, you have had your democracy removed with reference to the Brexit referendum. You have been made a second-class citizen. You have got a border in the North Channel, contrary to the Act of the Union and contrary to the Belfast Agreement. And the Belfast Agreement, which promised you that you had the principle of consent and there wouldn't be any constitutional change here in Northern Ireland until there was a vote, a referendum put to the people. Well, there wasn't a referendum put to the people, and there is constitutional change. So, people, wake up, smell the coffee. The Belfast Agreement doesn't work for you. Your British Unionist politicians that are in leadership right now, they are happy to work within that corrupt institution, even though that it has made you a second-class citizen, not worthy of the same democracy as people in England, Scotland, and Wales. So we'll be watching the DUP. We'll be back again next week. We'll be back again next week with some hot topics. Over the past few weeks, yes, we have been working in the background. We've collated some very good information, and we'll be exposing that information and the people behind the corruption, which relates to that information of which I speak. People, we are British Unionists, and we are having our birthright removed before our very eyes. If you think that your politicians, your DUP, what they say, it's my DUP, isn't that what they call their website, my DUP? If you think that's your DUP, I would say examine your thought processes. They're talking tough, but we don't see any actions. And the people here in Northern Ireland, well, we collectively, we deserve a lot better than what our politicians are delivering right now. I genuinely believe that those in leadership within those mainstream political parties, that they know the outcome. They know the fait accompli, and they are working in a way that seeks to move British Unionism to a place where they don't want to go. We must never let that happen. If they are weak-willed, let's not join them. Let's put others in power that will make meaningful, proactive protest in the way that the British Unionist electorate here in Northern Ireland deserves. So, people, we are coming to a close, and I'm just going to promote things. I'm just going to have a quick look at some of the live chat here. Try challenging their politics and see the abuse they give you for daring to disagree with them, Eddie. This is why that we're being curtailed by social media, probably at the behest and the request of the PSNI, for exposing corruption from within the PSNI, for daring to say that Doug Beattie is some sort of wishy-washy constitutional but not economic unionist. Whenever we expose this type of thing, well, we are being curtailed through social media, but it's not going to stop us. But yeah, I get your point, Annie, because that is the way that it is. But we're not going to let that happen. We're not frightened to go and face these people. We're not frightened to stand outside these people's offices. We've proved this. We've shown that we'll do that, and we will do it. But you know why we will do this? We will do this because we care. We will do this with your help. And I hope that a lot of people would get behind us to expose this corruption and to not let these people, get away with what they're doing. It's the start of October, and Jeffrey Donaldson hasn't made any meaningful, proactive protest. He's not good for his word. And what you'll see is he keeps moving the ball on down the playing field, kicking the can down the road. You know, it was the start of October, then it was the middle of October, and then it was the end of October, and now it's the start of November or the middle of November. It's constantly moving towards May, towards an election, in word that they're going to collapse and Stormont's going to go away anyway. And effectively, what this would be is that if Jeffrey Donaldson walks away from Stormont, he'll claim that he collapsed it, when all they are doing, people, is they are putting the criminal gang headquarters, which doesn't work for British unionism, they are putting it on life support. It's basically dead. And if they don't put it in life support, well, you know what happens? It'll collapse anyway. And make no mistake about it, it will collapse, because it is corrupt, because it doesn't say what it said in the Belfast Agreement. The principle of consent, which is written and enshrined in the Belfast Agreement, well, that portion of the Belfast Agreement, in fact, the entire Belfast Agreement, which is written in constructive ambiguity, it isn't worth the paper that it was written on. And how was it sold to British Unionists that the principle of consent would be there to protect British unionism? And yet it hasn't worked. It doesn't work. It was never meant to work. There's only one outcome of the Belfast Agreement. That is a border poll, after which there's going to be one every 7 years until so-called nationalists who want to give their country away and so-called Republicans who ought to be ashamed of themselves, and I laugh when I say that, you know, for all the people that did give their lives on that side of the fence, well, that's so that Gerry Adams and co and, you know, and all these other people, they could have their money suits and they could be rich people, and they could, of course, hand their country to the EU. That's what they've done. Republicanism, yeah. There you go. They've moved on from them. They have definitely moved on from them. People, thanks for coming along. Thank you for coming along. And yeah, look, Anne, yeah, you didn't miss us for a few weeks. And what actually happened was that I had a lot of work commitment and I couldn't broadcast. And but we're back again, and we're going to start building. We're going to start going hard at things. We're going to continue to expose the corruption. We've got a lot of new people that has come along, that has joined with us, and these are people which are capable of telling us the things that need to be told. You know, these are people that care for their country the same way in which that we do, and it is our absolute right to expose this corruption. And that's exactly what we will do. Look, people, what I want to do here again is I just want to make an appeal, and I'm going to pop something up here. So there's our shop. We have quite a few badges left, these Restore UK badges. I'm going to say to people that if anyone would want to purchase a badge, you know, if you go onto your shop there, and you know, if you can help us, it'll help our work. It'll help us do the things that we want to do. As I showed you earlier on, what we did was that we went and we purchased a very, very capable camera for making documentaries. Some of a few more things that we have to get. You know, we need a proper video editing suite and a proper system, computing system, and to enable us to be able to edit the video footage that we do in an efficient way. Now, don't get me wrong, we do have capability of doing that type of thing, and we'll work on with what we have. But how much better could we be if it is that we have the proper equipment to do what it is that we want to do? You know, whenever you're fighting for British unionism, well, you know, you're not catered for in the same way as you would be if you were fighting for Irish nationalism or Irish republicanism. You see, our politicians, they don't want to elevate us. They don't want to, in any way, shape, or form, have us put in the position where we're capable of pointing out their inabilities and their unwillingness and their corruption, because that's what we have. We have totally corrupt people that are at the heads of the party political machines in both the Ulster Unionist Party and in the DUP. And I don't care whether they want to challenge me on my words, but that is the case. That is consistently what I have seen over time. I have seen these people either saying the wrong thing, doing the wrong thing, not doing anything at all, allowing Republicans to get away with everything, kicking the can down the road, putting things in the long finger, promising you things that don't actually come to fruition, promising you at the time of election that they'll do X, Y, and Z. And then whenever you get your vote, they kick away the letter with no concern for those that they leave behind. And then they go back to doing the things that you don't want them to do. And look, I'm going to say something. We have to end this. We have to end this for once and for all. And now that we've got a vehicle to be able to do this, there's a couple of vehicles there. There are parties there that you can actually get behind and you can actually promote and you can actually vote for. It needs to change. It really needs to change, because if it doesn't change, we are absolutely finished. And that's at the hands of our own politicians, who have, over time, consistently sold us out, and out until such times as there's not much more to go, and we will be completely finished, annihilated, and out. Doug Beattie, he's a confident unionist, he tells me. Not tells me, but he tells everybody. He's confident in his unionism. Huh. Yeah, he's a constitutional unionist, but not an economic unionist. I can't even say the words I want to say. What an idiot. What an idiot. As we saw, you can't get enough of what you don't really need now. Stuck in the moment. That's Doug Beattie. That's where he's taken the Ulster Unionist Party, into a place where they don't seem to be able to get enough of what they don't need. However, and they say that, they want to pick up the vote, which otherwise would be going to the Alliance Party. But what's the difference? If there's no difference between the Ulster Unionist Party and the Alliance Party, does it matter who gets the vote? Anyway, Restore UK. There's a little PayPal link. What I'm going to do, and this, I'm going to appeal to the people, is help us, through our own funding, through money that we've put together ourselves and whatever. We've purchased quite heavily in the last couple of weeks in terms of camera equipment. So some really, really nice stands for the camera. They have to be industrial stands for the size of these things. Mic equipment. Also, there's what you call booms and stuff with these tripods in order that you can make professional videos. And we're really going to get into this documentary making for and on behalf of British Unionism, which would actually highlight what it is that we need to do, and be standing outside the DUP party headquarters if we need to be standing outside the Ulster Unionist Party headquarters if we need to be outside Jeffrey Donaldson's office in Lisburn, highlighting the fact that he has made a lot of promises, and yet these promises are not coming to fruition. And if you watch the Conservative Party over the past few days, well, what you will have seen is you'll see the art of kicking the can down the road. Jeffrey Donaldson's no stranger to that behaviour. I've known Jeffrey Donaldson long enough to understand that what he does is he puts things on the long finger, and these things, they never materialise. He needs to get up off his knees and mount a meaningful, proactive fight back. We're going to constantly remind him, not just here, but out and about. So again, let me just show you. Here we go. I'm just looking for a little picture. This is going to be us in the very, very near future, with not just one, but two of these powerful cameras, really capable of doing making documentaries. They're really, really good quality in terms of what it is that you can do with these things, and yeah, we really need to be able to tell our stories, because no one else is going to do it for us. And we need to be highlighting the corruption and the inabilities, the unwillingness and the inactions of our so-called political leaders, those that we give our vote to. And when they get our vote, well, they walk away with no concern for us. So I'm appealing to people, and I know that There's people on our live chat right now that does put money into, and that has actually helped fund what it is that we do. And you've played your part the same way as a lot of people here. So if you can buy anything from our shop, the Ko-fi.com is there. Again, it'll help our work. And also if you could maybe make a donation, £1, £2, £5, £10, £50, whatever it is that you could afford. Because again, we want to have two of these cameras on two big stands, and we want to be rocking up at places, and taking footage in a way that is very, very professional, and in a way that the camera angles can switch and so forth, so on and so forth. And we want to be doing this in a professional way. And this is so far that we've got in a short period of time, and we wouldn't have got this far if it wasn't for the loyal following that we have on here. So let's just go to a few comments before that we close our stream. Again, Eddie Torney, I agree. We need to change new fresh faces within our country at the top of their agenda rather than in their pocket. Absolutely, Eddie. I will agree with that totally. So again, Jim, I think you're talking about Doug Beattie. Simple. He is not a true unionist. Well, again, I totally agree with that. Thanks very much, Colin Legg. Thanks again, great show. And Colin, I really do appreciate the fact that that you've put your hand in your pocket a few times for us, and thanks very much. Again, some of the money that you would have put in would have went towards purchasing that camera, so that'll let you see where your money is going to. And then when you see the fruits of what it is that camera will be able to do in the very, very near future, well, you can put your hand in your heart and say, well, there you go, I contributed to that. And I'm going to say we'll do things in a fearless way. We're not frightened to go places. We're not frightened to uncover what it is that these people are doing. We're not frightened to confront these people. And that's what is needed until such times as maybe they change their ways. Maybe they begin to realize that they're not going to get away with it anymore. And maybe just they will get up with their knees, and within the realization that times have changed, the times are changed, and the times definitely will change. The times have changed in terms of them getting away with shafting those that vote for them, those that they beg for their vote, and after they get that vote, as Carson would have said, we were only puppets, humble rungs in a ladder which helped these people climb into power. And once in power, they kick away the ladder with no concern for those that they leave behind. Now, that's me paraphrasing, but the story is the same of 100 years ago. And that's when Carson was talking about the Conservative Party who shafted him. Well, that's what the DUP done with us. After the general election, whenever they went and they signed a new decade, new deal. You remember the Irish language, where there wouldn't be a standalone Irish Language Act, when when the teeth would be moved out of the Commissioner for Irish Language. People, Commissioner, who remembers the Parades Commissioner? How did that go for British Unionism? How did that go for the Marching Bands Fraternity? A commissioner is an enforcer. A commissioner is an enforcer all day long. And yet the DUP said they were going to strip the teeth out of the commissioner. Let's just see how that goes in the future. And that was, conceded at the hands of the DUP. And that was after that we collectively voted for the DUP, put them in power whenever they told us that they wouldn't do that. And once they got our vote, they went off and they've done what they wanted anyway. We need to put a stop to this, people. We really, really do. William Dixon, good to see you. Yes, William, we're back again. We're away there for the best of a few weeks due to work commitment. We're back again. We're fighting fit and we're ready to go. And we're totally in the mood to be exposing the inactions and the inabilities of our politicians that say they want to work for us, but in actual fact, they kick the can down the road with no concern for what it is that we have to pick up the pieces for. And if they won't do it, we have to do it for them. It's just as simple as that. and it's as serious as that. I'm just looking again. Roberta Bird, Eddie Bird, yeah, you're very, very welcome. You're very, very welcome. And I'm glad that you enjoyed this evening. And there's much more to come where this came from. And we have a few new ideas on how to enhance the channel. As I say, we're going to be making some documentaries. If you've got a worthy story, people, come and talk to us, and we will be happy to tell the story for you. Now that we're capable, now that now that you, the people that follow Restore UK, the people that follow the British Unionist People's Voice, now that you people have helped us get to the point whereby that we're now capable of doing things. I mean, if we were an Irish Republican, if we were belonging to the Irish language fraternity, we would have a state-of-the-art studio with all the filmmaking capabilities and everything that we need. Money wouldn't be any object, but our politicians, they don't want us getting into that position, and perish the thought, in case that we expose the corruption that emanates from them. People, in closing, it is my absolute right to say what it is that I see. It is my absolute right to point out corruption, to point out the inactions, the inabilities, and the unwillingness of our British Unionist leaders. It is my right in a democracy to do that. And whilst I have that right, I will continue to use it on my behalf and also on your behalf. Thanks very much for coming along. Sorry about the breaks in the stream this evening. I'm using a mobile device to be able to stream this evening, but we're going to have that rectified very, very soon. There had no option. It had to be done this evening. Thank you. We're going to play us out with one patriotic song. And sorry I didn't get time to count for everybody. Good night, everyone. Take care. Lindy, good to see you. Yvonne Anderson, good to see you. Tommy Lloyd, good to see you. Colin, thanks once again. And I really, really mean that from the bottom of my heart. I'm just looking back. Robert Crawford, thanks again, Robert. You're a gentleman, and it's good to see that you're here regularly. Isabel Montgomery, thank you very much for coming along. Jim, there we go. So, yep, it wasn't on. He's just telling. Carol Porter, Protestant Porter herself, not on last Wednesday. That's right, we weren't here last Wednesday. So, just looking there, there's Eddie. Yep. Just wondering, John, what deals have been made when even the Shinners are very quiet? Absolutely. There's not a word out of them. You're absolutely right. So there we go. We know that there's something that's happening in the background that we're not aware of. In other words, a fait accompli, and British Unionism are not going to like it. British Unionism are not going to like the FICT report, which Edwin Poots has seen, because he was in the executive office, which Paul Given has seen, which Jeffrey Donaldson, I would say, has seen, which the hierarchy of the DUP has seen, which Arlene Foster has seen. We aren't going to like we're definitely not going to like what's in that FICT report in terms of the cultural war that is being waged on British Unionism here in Northern Ireland. And yet they'll hide that until after the election. They think that we're puppets, humble rungs in a ladder that's going to help them climb into power. We need to break this cycle, people. We really, really need to do. And I've given Jeffrey Donaldson every opportunity to come and talk to me. But all he wants to do is to put things on the long finger. Yeah. And he says that I was taunting him for saying, are we not important enough? Do you not want the real questions, the hard questions? Are we not important enough to talk to? Well, he says that he agreed to talk to us, but he's too busy now. But he's around talking to everyone else. Maybe the yes men, maybe the people that are being funded. Maybe that's the type of people that he wants to speak to, because they won't rock the boat. Whereas we go by the donations on this platform, by whatever we can afford ourselves, the people that work in the background, with the helpful forces of ordinary people who care. That's how we function. That's how we are. We won't be bought, because what is worth fighting for is definitely worth fighting for. Northern Ireland's place within the United Kingdom is not for sale. I'll say that again. British Unionism in Northern Ireland should never be able to be bought. So maybe it's time that we get back to the good old-fashioned love for country, love for history, heritage, culture, and everything that surrounds it. Northern Ireland is worth fighting for. And that's no matter who that you have to fight in order to survive. As I said a few weeks ago, even if it means fighting with our own political leaders, well, so be it. If that's what has to happen, that's exactly what will happen. Thanks very much for coming along, people. I really, really mean that. Leave some messages in the live chat as we are closing down. And as you see, a few weeks rest. Well, it wasn't really a rest for me. I was working night and day, early hours, from maybe 8 o'clock in the morning to some nights, there was one evening I didn't get home to 2:30. So I had a great deal of work to do over the past few weeks. That's why that I wasn't capable of doing this type of stream. But now that we're clear of all that, we're here and we're refreshed and we're ready to go, and we're ready to expose anyone, and I mean anyone, who turns a blind eye to what is happening to our country before our very eyes. Thank you very much for coming along. Leave some messages in the live chat, and I'm going to play it with a little song, well, two little songs. Let's go for two. And I'll see you all next week. Who knows? Maybe before next week if things go the right way. Sorry about the freezing up, people, and I hope it wasn't too hard for you to listen to. So thanks very much. Thank you for coming along, and it's good night from me. So let's look for a proper song. This song has a meaning. This song is actually saying, when the world comes in to drive a wall between us, and that's what they've done. They've driven a wall between us, between here in Northern Ireland and the rest of the United Kingdom. When the world comes in to build a wall between us, firstly, don't dream it's over. Secondly, don't let them win. So this song, and then a patriotic song, and it's good night from Restore UK. See you all next week, people.
There is freedom within, there is freedom without. Try to catch a deluge in a paper cup. There's a battle ahead, many battles are lost, but you never see the end of the road while you're traveling with me. Hey now, don't dream it's over. Come back up to build a wall between us. You know that they won't win. Now I'm towing my car, there's a hole in the roof. My possessions are causing me suspicion, but there's no proof. In the paper today tells a warrant of waste, but you turn right over to the TV page. Hey now, don't dream it's over. Hey now, when the world comes in, they come back up to build a wall between us. You know that they won't win. steps to the door of your heart. Only shadows ahead, barely clearing the roof. Get to know the feeling of liberation and relief. Hey now, don't dream it's over. Hey now, when the world comes in, they come to build a wall between us. You know that they won't win. La da 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 da, la da 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 da, la da 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 da, la da da da. Won't let the wind don't
just across the Irish Sea stirs a heart of loyalty, raising honor and indignity, drives the will to keep us British free. Not alone are we on this journey, we're in a land just across the sea. It's a hand that reaches out of friendship, and a bond that's lasted centuries. And its hands cross the water, reaching out for you and me, for Queen Ulster and for Scotland, help to keep our loyal people free. Let the cry be no surrender, let no one doubt our loyalty. Reaching out to the brave red hand of Ulster is the hand across the sea. Cross the water, reaching out for you and me, for Queen and Ulster and for Scotland, help to keep our loyal people free. Let the cry be no surrender, let no one doubt our loyalty. Reaching out to the brave red hand of Ulster is a hand across the sea. Just across the Irish Sea stirs a heart of loyalty, raising honor and dignity, drive the will to keep us British free. Not alone, we on this this journey, or in a land just across the sea. It's a hand that reaches out in friendship. It's the hand across the sea. It's the hand across the sea. It's a hand across the sea.
We didn't join Europe to be swallowed up in some bureaucratic conglomerate where it's Euro this and Euro that and forget about being British. We're British and we're proud of it. Proud of our traditions, proud of our national character.